I got assigned the case about the homicide that happened in Pendleton in 2015. We'd like to talk to you. The money found in your safe, there's money photos from Mike's computer that match the same serial numbers as the money that was found in the safe.
So can you tell us a little bit about that weekend? Were you gone when you got home and you found the bodies, or what happened?
Now you're gonna have to deal with the consequences.
These are moments when killers get caught years later, like the time this gangster accidentally gave himself away on live TV, confessing to one of the most infamous murders in history.
Y'all need to come buy my book. Compton's a street legend.
Davis admitted to being one of 4 people in the infamous white Cadillac that fateful September night.
Hey Keith, Metro Police, come over here. Hey Metro Police, come over here, all right?
So what they got you for, man?
Biggest case in Las Vegas history.
But first, let's start with Ross and Amy Vilardi, who have been living with a terrifying secret that they hoped would never be revealed.
As family members, we want answers.
We're not here because we think you did it or you might have did it. We know you did it. Okay, we're just here as a courtesy.
On November 2nd, 2015, Kathy and Michael Scott, along with their mothers Violet Taylor and Barbara Scott, were found dead in their home. All 4 victims were found dead in one of the most gruesome scenes investigators had ever seen. Each victim sustained stab wounds with their throats being sliced. Additionally, one of the victims was shot after they died. Not only that, blood that was discovered on the doors and walls at the scene of the crime indicated that the victims tried to get away to no avail. The quadruple murder went undetected. That is, until Kathy Scott's daughter, Amy Vilardi, thought to check on her mother after she noticed that she hadn't been out to walk the dog. According to Amy, she went up to knock on the back door and found it open. And when she went inside, she discovered the brutal scene.
911 was location of emergency.
Oh my God, I need somebody out here.
What's going on?
Oh God.
There's 4 people.
In my mama's house.
Who are these people that are in the house?
It's my mom and my grandma and my granny and my stepdad.
On the call, Amy seemed distraught, but upon arrival on the scene, police would find that things weren't quite adding up. Based on the evidence found, there was no forced entry, meaning it was likely that the person who committed the crime was let inside the house. Also, the evidence would suggest that the victims knew the killers, but there was no clarity on who the killers could be, so no arrests were made, and for years the killers roamed free. But a Facebook video would surface that paint a sinister picture of the relationship between Amy's husband, Ross Vilardi, and her family.
Why don't you have Grandma come out here real quick?
I don't think your grandma wants to deal with this trash.
I'll show you, stop.
Yep, see ya. Okay.
This video, alongside circumstantial evidence that Amy and Ross had stolen money from Michael, were among the evidence that make them prime suspects. So the detectives reopened the case 8 years later. So in 2023, police began conducting interviews with Michael and Kathy's neighbors to begin to build a narrative.
With the daughter, got angry with her and kept the children from Kathy.
So tell us about that.
It seemed that they really tried to help Amy a lot. And Mike and Kathy, they really took care of the kids. And it broke Kathy and Mike's heart. She just really missed the kids, and the 2 older ladies that lived there, they were used to the kids coming in and out.
You think Kathy was afraid at all of Amy and Ross?
No, she never expressed that. But it was always the talk of the area that Mike would go to flea markets and he would get some kind of video games that he collected. There was a good resale market for him, and that he would buy any old jewelry that had some gold in it. It was always a rumor that he kept a lot of cash and gold stuff around.
In this interview, police discovered that Michael had a habit of keeping large sums of money in the house. Not only that, he often bought items to resell and kept gold jewelry. This would help build a possible motive behind the murders. And as detectives continued interviewing people, a more sinister picture would develop.
Ross had made a joke and said, do you want me to It was a joke at the time.
Right.
Then later I was like, holy, I'm glad I didn't say yeah.
It's Amy, right? What was your job there?
A bather, and I was learning in the process of grooming.
When you worked for the shop, you said they were just getting started, so they weren't very successful yet.
They appeared that they were fine.
Okay.
But then I would hear arguments of them, and a lot of it was money related. When I started working for her, I seen Kathy and Mike at the grooming shop. I was in the back grooming, so I didn't hear everything that was going on, but it was something to do with money.
Okay.
Throughout working there, she'd always tell me about how she was treated growing up and all of that.
What kind of stuff would she say about how she was treated?
She told me that she was always a daddy's girl, and she said her dad he was working on a car and it crushed him, and he was placed in the hospital. And her mom decided to pull the plug. She always hated her mom for that.
As detectives dug deeper, it became more clear that the motive behind the murder was, without a doubt, financial. And since Amy and Ross continued to have suspicious lavish purchases, their innocence seemed more and more unlikely. But things were about to look much worse for them, because police discovered in CCTV footage that Ross owned shoes whose soles matched the bloody shoe prints found at the scene of the crime. So on December 11th, 2023, detectives pay Amy and Ross a visit.
Hey, are you Ross? I'm Tyler Duncan. I'm with Anderson County Sheriff's Office. This is Steve.
How you doing? How's it going?
I got assigned the case about the homicide that happened in Pendleton in 2015.
Okay.
Is Amy here?
She here.
So since she's the one that called 911, I think you were there also. We'd like to talk to you. Can you describe, I guess, your relationship with Mike and Kathy?
I had a good relationship with Kathy. My relationship with Mike was really great, actually. It kind of turned sideways a little bit July 4th.
So I think y'all had got married that year, is that right?
Correct.
In 2015?
Yes, October 24th.
The 24th. That would have been, what, about a week or so before?
Yep. The last time that I saw Mike and Kathy was before Amy and I left to come down that Halloween. We had just gotten back from my mom and dad's. She went to knock on the back door, but the back door kind of just like was already cracked open or something like that. And that's when she apparently found the scene that she found. She went bolting back out of the house. I think she called 911 before she called me, if I remember correctly.
So you didn't go over to the other trailer?
No.
Or to Mike and Kathy's trailer?
Correct. I never went in that trailer that day.
So after you last seen them, you never went in their place again?
Correct. Yeah.
Ross tells the detectives that he wasn't in the house, a lie that the cops immediately catch on to because of the bloody shoe prints found at the crime scene. Investigators are getting closer to the truth, but after speaking with Ross, they decide to interview Amy to hear her side of the story.
Your grandmother, and then obviously Mr. Scott and his mom. What do you remember? What can you help us with? Where should we look?
Yeah, me and my therapist talk about that a lot. Obviously, you got to know finding people doesn't really leave you in the right state of mind. Can do things to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And then everything that ensued. I mean, honestly, I can barely remember the funerals.
Ross, tell us a little bit about the relationship between, I guess y'all and the family. Something happened?
We got into it around 4th of July or something with Mike, but he wasn't a nice person at all. Because I told my mom, look, I don't like it. My kids can't come over there until we straighten some stuff out.
So at the time of the murders, you and your mom were back talking, everything was kind of getting patched up?
Me and my mother was not a horrible person. She was prickly.
She always hated her mom.
So can you tell us a little bit about that weekend when were you gone, when you got home and you found the bodies, or what happened?
We brought his mom, my mother-in-law, to do Halloween. We went down there, we spent the weekend.
What day did y'all leave to go down?
Friday night.
Friday night.
I drove myself quite crazy for about a couple of years there. And I've chosen to step away, and I've got to be healthy, and I've got kids, and I've got a life to live, and if somebody else dropped the ball on it, it's not on me anymore.
Okay. Well, if we just ask Ross a couple more things, and we'll be out of here.
After speaking with Amy, detectives talk with Ross, and this time they take a more direct approach to their questioning.
A couple more things, and we're going to get out of here, okay? Do you remember owning a red pair of shoes?
A pair of shoes?
ASIC Speedstar shoes. What happened to the shoes?
That's a good question, because I have no idea.
This is from crime scene photos, and these are confirmed to be ASIC Speedstar shoes.
Okay.
Inside, and they have blood droplets on them. And interestingly enough, you're at the Quick Trip wearing those shoes the night of the murders.
I have no idea how those shoes would have had any kind of blood on them. I mean, obviously I was wearing them at a Quick Trip on the 31st.
Well, and they never found the clothes either that you were wearing.
Let me think here.
If y'all left on Halloween afternoon, but you're on video there, the timeline doesn't add up. The fact that your shoes are inside of the house in blood, that's a big problem.
Again, I don't know where the shoes are at the moment. If something were to have happened that I had done, it would be stupid for me to wear them into the house and then wear them after that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They were never found. So it's almost like you got rid of them. We know what happened, and we're about to prove it. If you want to look out for yourself, is to really just to tell us what happened. Because obviously you have the skill set to go in here and do this, and y'all did benefit from the murders, okay? Because you got a lot of money. We've been through your financials, okay?
We didn't get a lot of money from this.
Y'all were struggling all up until the murders. The money found in your safe, there's money photos from Mike's computer that match the same serial numbers as the money that was found in the safe. So it's not savings.
We're not here because we think you did it or you might have did it. We know you did it. Okay, we're just here as a courtesy. And you said it the best. Follow the money. We did that. It led right into your single wide. It's piling up, Russ. You don't want to roll the dice on this, I'm telling you.
If, for instance, Amy and I decided to, or if I decided to take a deal,
right,
mine is going to be better than Amy's because I came to the trough first, right?
Right.
So prison time, no matter what. Amy, prison time, no matter what. My 3 kids in here, they grew up without a father and a mother. Granted, my mother would be more than willing to take them. I understand that.
We're not the ones who put you on this predicament. Now you're going to have to deal with the consequences.
10, 20 years in prison, that's best case minimum scenario, I would imagine, right?
It's better than the rest of your life or death, isn't it?
I mean, it might as well be one of those two. By the time I get out, my kids aren't going to know who the f- I am. I mean, the other option is I probably need to talk to a lawyer at this juncture here.
Amy and Ross Vilardi were arrested and charged on 4 counts of murder. They are still awaiting trial. In this case, the suspects weren't caught for several years. But what happens when the victim is someone everyone knows? Tupac Shakur to this day is one of the most legendary artists of all time. Prior to his death, he had been nominated for 6 Grammy Awards and had 5 #1 albums. Additionally, Tupac sold more than 75 million records worldwide, making him one of the most popular artists in history, which makes what happened on September 7th, 1996, all the more tragic. On that fateful day, Tupac, his hip-hop group, the Outlaws, and Suge Knight went to Las Vegas to watch Mike Tyson fight Bruce Seldon. But minutes after the fight was over, Tupac and his entourage get into a fight of their own with rival members of the Southside Compton Crips, which include the nephew of Duane Keith, Orlando Anderson. After the fight, Tupac and his entourage went to the Luxor Hotel and Casino before heading to the 662 Club. On the way, his car was pulled over by the cops for playing music too loud and not displaying his license plate. Moments later, after interacting with some women driving beside them, Knight and Tupac stopped at a red light, when a gunman in a white Cadillac shot more than a dozen rounds into Tupac's black BMW. Tupac was hit by 4 bullets and died in the hospital on September 13, 1996. The death of the music icon sent shockwaves through the music industry and made people speculate who the perpetrators of the crime were. And for decades, the killers would remain a mystery. But on February 15, 2019, Duane "Kef" Davis released a tell-all memoir which detailed his involvement with the shooting. And while promoting the memoir, he began doing interviews which encouraged investigators to look into reopening the case.
In various public forums on YouTube and in an autobiography, Davis described the events that brought down the rap legend.
Y'all need to come buy my book. Compton's a street legend. It's a good read, man. It's nothing but the truth.
Davis admitted to being one of 4 people in the infamous white Cadillac that fateful September night. He says his crew noticed Tupac because the rapper was hanging out of the front passenger side window of a black BMW driven by Suge Knight along Flamingo Road near the Strip.
Shit, he had half his body out the window. Yeah.
Contrary to what gang member Denvonta Lee told the grand jury, jurors heard Davis claim in an interview with Urban City TV it was Orlando Anderson, his nephew, who shot Shakur on September 7th, 1996.
He gave the gun to Orlando, and Orlando shot Tupac and Suge.
Yeah, he did his thing, yeah.
Davis also said after the shooting, his crew went back to their Strip hotel to pop bottles.
Didn't nobody know but us 4 that was in the car.
The other 3 men in that car with Davis are now all deceased, and investigators say it's unlikely Davis would have ever been arrested if he hadn't opened his mouth.
Orlando, not to tell nobody, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
I was saying, on this type, can't be telling nobody. That's the only way you're gonna stay free.
Keffe D first spoke to police about his involvement with the shooting in 2008, and his first public comments on the shooting were on a beat series called Death Row Chronicles. But when his memoir was released, Keffe D provided even more details than he had previously. In it, he spoke about an alleged meeting he had with Diddy, who allegedly put a hit out on Tupac and Suge Knight. He described seeing Tupac sticking his head out of the BMW and his crew turning around to pull up next to him. Then detailed the shooting, even saying, "One of my guys from the back seat grabbed the Glock and started busting back."
Came up Harmon, and shit, here he coming at BMW. All the chicks was like, Tupac, and he was like, hey, like a celebrity, like he was in the parade. He wouldn't even been out the window, we would have never seen him. I found it busted you, When we pulled up, I was in the front seat.
You said the shots came from the back. Big Dre, Orlando. Who shot Tupac?
To keep it for the code of the streets. It just came from the back seat, bro.
Keefe D gave the cops everything they needed, a detailed account of the crime, beat by beat. These comments are what helped lead police to Keefe D's front door. And sure enough, on September 29, 2023, while on a walk, Davis was approached by the Las Vegas Metro Police Department and arrested.
Hey, Keith, Metro Police, come over here. Hey, Metro Police, come over here, all right? Thanks, buddy. Come on over here. Appreciate your cooperation, okay? I'll stand right here in front of the car. Yep, bud. Yep, we're going to put it down. I know. Put that down for a second, all right? You got nothing on you, right? Hooks.
Do you have anything on you, sir?
No.
All I had was a phone and water.
Phone and water.
We're gonna put you in the car.
I need to drink some water, man. I'm thirsty.
Yeah, we'll let you get a drink on it. You just going for a walk or what?
Yeah.
Okay. You do like a morning walk every day, or?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get you some water, my man.
Can you get it now?
Yeah. Well, as soon as we get you in the car, we'll get you in the car.
All right. Appreciate it, sir. Really? Just walk over here, sir. Okay. Don't worry, your water's...
After being handcuffed, Davis is put in the squad car. Bodycam footage captures his raw thoughts as he is escorted to the station.
Were you all following me last night?
Nope.
So why y'all didn't bring the media?
Why would we bring the media?
That's what y'all do to me.
So what they got you for, man?
Biggest case in Las Vegas history.
Oh, yeah? Like recent?
September 7th, 1996.
27 years after Tupac's murder, Davis was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. He pleaded not guilty. In this case, police officers helped solve a 27-year-old cold case. But what happens when the killer and their victims are related? On September 15, 2023, Essex police forced their way into the home of John McCullough and Lois McCullough after their general practitioner raised concerns with police when they didn't show up to several medical appointments. Initially, their daughter, 36-year-old Virginia McCullough, was able to make excuses for their absence, and with the help of the lockdowns of COVID, was able to keep a sinister secret for 4 years. But when officers spoke to Virginia and the people who came in contact with her, it would become apparent that something was off, which sent the Essex police right to Virginia's front door.
Stay where you are. Stay where you are. Stay where you are. Show your hands. Yeah.
Jenny?
Yep.
Jenny? Oh. The time is 12:12. You're under arrest on suspicion of murder against Jonathan McCullough and Lois McCullough.
Yep.
Okay? You don't have to say anything, but in my home defence, you do not mention when in question, so like report anything to do so with the evidence. Okay? Alright, your arrest is necessary for a prompt and effective.
Is there anything in the pocket we should know about?
Yes, there is.
Can I take you to it? No, you can tell me.
Only mere moments after being handcuffed, Virginia informs the officers that there is something important she needs to tell them. And what she soon reveals would give a detailed account of what happened and the whereabouts of both John and Lois McCullough.
Can we go in there for a second, just so I can tell you something about what's in there?
Yeah.
The only reason I said I need to tell you something about what's upstairs on the top floor as well.
It's fine.
Yeah, okay.
My dad's body's in there.
Right, okay.
Yep, okay. Obviously I'll
Where about your
mum? A little bit more complicated.
Okay.
That's why I said, can I go upstairs and show you?
Right, can you explain it to us, please? Because we're trying to preserve this. It's now going to be seen, so we need to preserve this the best we can. So I don't want you to have you walking up there, all right? Because that's for your well-being as well as ours.
Oh, no, up.
Okay. So where will we find your mum? Where will we find your mum?
Okay, so upstairs there are about 5 wardrobes.
Yep.
It's behind the bed, at the back, next to the sink. That's the second one.
Virginia informs the cops that her parents' bodies are in the house. John McCullough's body was found in his room in a makeshift tomb, while Lois McCullough's body was found in another bedroom, wrapped in a sleeping bag in a wardrobe. After telling the officers the location of her parents' bodies, she gives a detailed account of how she murdered them.
I slipped a pile of those into his drink. There were about 2 or 3 drinks that I brought downstairs. And yeah, they were basically, he didn't drink all of them. He only drank probably about half of 2. But yeah, when I went in the morning, this was before my mother, When I went in the morning, early hours, I got up about half an hour early, about 6 o'clock in the morning. Came in and he was gone. He was gone.
Okay.
It's I did know that this would kind of come eventually. It's proper that I serve my punishment. So, yeah.
Okay, so Virginia, I'm just going to ask you this. This is what I've written down based on the information you just told us, because what we regard as a significant comment, because you've made it upon under caution after your arrest.
By the way, they're my granddad's.
Okay, right. So I've written this, please. I, Virginia McCullough, have informed police constables 77329 Brown and 79387 Bowers after entering my house on Friday the 15th September 2023 that I murdered my father, John McCullough, who was stated was under a bed in the rear ground floor of the house, and my mother upstairs in a cupboard next to the sink.
Wardrobe. It's a double wardrobe.
Right, okay, I've written
double
cupboard.
Wardrobe. It's like 4 wardrobe doors, but it's the one nearest the sink. Double wardrobe.
Pick up then.
Yeah.
What's significant as I've written down there here now, I've just read out to you. Are you happy to sign that, to say that's a true account?
Yeah. Cheer up, at least you caught the bad guy.
I'm just waking up today and done my job. No.
I know I don't seem
Not a lot.
100% evil, but we all, yeah.
I'm not going to comment on anything. It's not my job to comment on it, okay? Because I've got to be impartial with everything, okay? So I'm not going to give any comments.
No, well, I mean, I deserve to obviously get whatever's coming sentence-wise, because that's the right thing to do. And that might give me a bit of peace.
In June 2019, Virginia crushed up prescription pills and put them in her father's alcoholic drinks, and by the next morning, he was dead. Her mother, however, was stabbed multiple times in the chest and beaten with a hammer. Lucidly, in this moment, Virginia tells the cops everything, and even goes as far as to tell them to cheer up because they caught the bad guy. However, the previous 4 years, Virginia wasn't so forthcoming. Up until this moment, she had kept her parents' deaths a secret and covered up the truth with only lies.
Also in the handbag as well, there's and again, because you're probably going to need to know about it, there's a card in there, card one money, and that's a bank card where there's a lot of transactions that have taken place over the last few years. From money that pertains to my parents.
It was later revealed that Virginia had been financially abusing her parents by spending their money, using their credit cards and taking money from their pension, for a total of £149,697. Additionally, between 2019 and 2023, Virginia had used £21,000 for online gambling. Virginia McCullough was given a life sentence and will spend a minimum of 36 years in jail for murdering her parents. In this case, the suspect came clean about the crime they committed. But what happens when there's a heavy amount of DNA evidence? On November 13, 2022 at 11:58 a.m., 911 received a call from an Idaho College student from an off-campus residence. The student called and said that they needed assistance after they found their roommate unresponsive. When Moscow police arrived at the scene, they found the bodies of Madison Mogan, Kaylee Goncalves, Jana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. The autopsy report said that the victims died from multiple excessive stab wounds that came from a knife. Detectives began to search for evidence, first in a dumpster outside the home and then by contacting the local business nearby. But there were no arrests and no suspects initially named. And as time went by, rumors began developing about the identity of the killers, as well as a heaviness over the city. On December 6, 2022, Moscow Police Chief James Fry gave a small update on the case during an interview. The next day, police announced they were looking for the driver of a white Hyundai Elantra from 2011 to 2013, information that later became integral to the case. But at the time, the victims' families still felt left in the dark. But on December 15, 2022, officers would catch a break in the case when a driver was pulled over by the cops for following a vehicle too closely. Body camera footage captures the moment a cop speaks to the driver about the incident.
Hello? How you doing? How y'all doing today? Good, good. Take a look at your driver's license real quick if I could. See, he's right up on that van, man. He was right up on the back end of that van. Pulled you over for tailgating. Is this your car? Okay, cool. Where are you headed?
Well, we're coming from WSU, and we're scanning early.
What's WSU?
Yeah, I go to the university basically. They were listening to this incident that was occurring up there. It was a good shooting incident. Got his SWAT team and everything.
So we're okay. I'm having a hard time hearing you because of the traffic. So you're coming from Washington State University, and you're going where? Oh,
we're going to be going to Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're slightly punchy because we're driving for hours.
Hours, days.
Hours. We're driving. Well, almost a day.
Okay. And what did you say about some SWAT team thing? Or
yeah, there was a mass shooting and everything.
Where?
This was
Interesting.
Well, it's horrifying because he's going to the university, you know what I mean?
So y'all work at the university there?
I actually do work there.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I hadn't heard about that incident. Just yesterday, or?
This happened this morning. About an hour and a half ago. We're still wrapping it up for investigating. I'm not sure there's two shootings, but they did shoot somebody.
Let's see.
And then you don't know about that actually. They were there for shooting.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. So do me a favor, don't follow too close, okay?
The cops let the driver off with a warning, but little did they know the person behind the wheel was Bryan Kohberger. And over the course of the next few weeks, Moscow police would be gathering evidence against him. After parsing through large amounts of DNA evidence, they found evidence of Bryan's DNA on a leather knife sheath that was left on one of the victim's bed. Not only that, cell phone data and video evidence would show that Bryan's cell phone and car were near the victim's house on the night of the murder. So on December 30th, 2022, Bryan Kohberger was arrested and extradited to Idaho. He was charged for 4 counts of murder and 1 count of burglary. He faces the death penalty and is still awaiting trial.